Hello, Mr. Hassan. We would like to ask you about your future career and what background and experience have you.
Hi Monica, it's a pleasure having you. For my background, as you know, I am an engineer originally. I graduated from the Faculty of Engineering, Civil Department, and I worked as an engineer for a few years, maybe like 10 years. And then I decided to change my career to teaching because of many reasons. Actually, first of all, because I love teaching. I think it's a job that I can make an influence in my students, I can make a change in them, and I can teach them many things. So I love teaching, and it suits more my circumstances as a mother and as a wife. So from I was a kid, I love math. So I chose to be a math teacher. And for what else you want to know about my future or what?
How did you get this job?
How did I get my job? As I told you now, as I was talking to Monica, I love teaching. So when I decided to transfer from engineering to teaching, I chose to be a math teacher. And then I applied in this school, and it was God's hand that opened this door for me, and I started my work here in St. Fatima a few years ago.
How did you choose your job?
How did I choose my job? It's the same answer, because I love teaching. So I chose to be a teacher because I said this is a job that I can make an influence in my students. I can make a change in them. I will make a difference in their lives. So I have a mission. I have a mission, and I think it's a very nice job, and it's a very rewarding job. When I see my students loving me, this is for me. It's an amazing feeling.
And what do you like about it and don't like?
I like about it that as I was telling you now, that I make a change in my students. It's a rewarding job. I can make a good relations with my students and influence them positively. This is from one hand. On the other side, the negative side of it, that sometimes you deal with students that they don't want to learn. Actually, it's very difficult when you deal with a student that he doesn't want to be better. You want to make him better, but he doesn't want. So this is the main obstacle that I'm facing in teaching.
And what motivated you to keep job?
What motivation? Motivation, it's the same. That I love this job. I want to be a difference in my students' lives. I want to make an influence in their lives. I want to make a change in their lives. I want to teach them a good math, to have good background in math. I want them when they go to university that they will remember me with a good thing. That they say, for example, oh, one day this teacher taught us something that we are benefiting from now. This is my first and most important motivation.
What do you think are the requirements for this job?
Patience, patience, patience. You need to be very patient, very loving, very caring. You need to like it. Teacher, it's a job that you cannot work unless you like. You can do any other job because you want to earn money, to make this job, to make this work. But in teaching, if you don't like it, if you don't love teaching, you won't be able to handle it and to fulfill your job.
How does this career affect your life just outside the school?
Outside my school? Look, working in general, in any career, in any job, it needs organization. For example, I am a multitask person. I need to be a wife, I need to be a mother, I need to be a teacher, so I need to organize my time very, very efficiently. For example, I need to come to school. When I go home, I have to take care of my children, of my house, and this comes only by organizing time. So organizing my time is the key word.
Do you think you have an impact on this job on you personally?
Yes, sometimes I deal with my husband and my children as a teacher. I don't, sometimes, for example, talking with them in a loud voice, because in class I'm used to loud voice. So when I go home, it's very difficult to switch off and then go back to normal human being. So sometimes I Yes, I deal with my children at home in the feeling of a teacher. So it has an impact too. You're welcome. Thank you.
What are your ambitions in the future, or in your work, or in your personal life?
My ambitions as for the future on the personal level, I wish to see my kids, my children in the best form. I want to see I have 3 children, so I want to see them the best in their life, to be successful in their lives. And on my career or my work level, on the work level, I want to be a successful teacher that influences her students as much as I can to be successful and to be happy and to have a successful future and to use what they are learning now. Because math, as you know, it's not only solving equations. Math, it affects the way of thinking. It's the way of solving problems. So I want them to be affected positively from the math I'm teaching.
Based on what criteria you plan your curriculum?
My curriculum actually it's planned according to the standards, because we are, as you know, here we are American school, so we have standards of the American system. So this is how we usually choose our curriculum. On the projects, I always choose the projects that they help in emphasizing the idea I'm teaching or I'm explaining in the class. For example, if I'm explaining one idea, I want a project to work with me to emphasize the idea that I'm explaining.
And what are the jobs available to graduate from the engineering department?
I'm the faculty of engineering, civil department, and civil engineering it's a very, very wide spectrum career, because in civil engineering you can be highway engineering, you can work as a structural buildings, highways, sewage planning, water planning and water, wastewater treatment planning. In civil engineering, you can make landscape design for cities. A lot of works and a lot of things you can do in the civil engineering department.
And what are the methods of communication you use to communicate with
my students? Communications, to have a good communication, it has to start with understanding the person in front of you. So I try to understand my students as much as I can. I try to love them as much as I can. And then I find the method of communication which is suitable to each student. For example, the communication that I'm doing with Monica, sometimes it's different than the communication I'm doing with Nagham. So it needs to understand, for me, to understand the student very well, to love him, and to tell you the truth, believe me, I love all my students. I love them very, very much. So with love, with understanding, I can always find the way of communication which is suitable to each one of them.
Where have you got your skills from teaching?
You know, if I tell you that it came when I was young, when I was a kid. From when I was a kid, I used to explain to my colleagues all the time. I used to be good in school. I used to be the first in my class. So all the time I have other students explaining to them. And when I went to the university, it started the same. I used to explain to my colleagues. And to all my relatives in the family, they used to come to me to explain to them math. So it came when I was just maybe 10 years old. It started with me. And then I chose it because I love it. Is there any other questions? Are there any other questions?
Ms. Thompson, how do you think you deal with your peers?
Okay. Thanks God, really, I'm very thankful to God that here in St. Fatima we have the spirit of a family. We all colleagues, we are dealing with each other in a very respectable and very respectful way, and we are dealing with each other in a loving way, and we are dealing as one family. So I have very, very good relations with all my colleagues, either on the basis of the the teachers or even the administration or the headmistress or the principal. We are all dealing with each other in a very good way, and I have very good relation with each one of them.
Thank you.